Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses Peace, Unity and Development Rally in the Phu of Karbi Anglong District, Assam, unveils several development projects in the state. PM Awas Yojana, Har Ghar Jal are not just any government schemes but manifestation of our dreams of providing all necessary amenities to the poor, says Prime Minister. Ministry of Finance says with the release of over 2 lakh crore rupees as GST compensation to the states, no payments are pending for the financial year 2020-21. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says fuel will be cheaper if opposition-ruled states cut taxes on petrol instead of cutting taxes on imported liquor. Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh launches 90-day interministerial campaign Azadi Se Antyodaya Tak under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Flagship telemedicine scheme E-Sanjeevani records 3.5 lakh teleconsultations on the 26th and 27th of this month. Samba district of Jammu division becomes first district of the country to cover 100% households under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana Sehat scheme. In Santosh Trophy football, first semi-final between hosts Kerala and Karnataka to be played at Wayanad Stadium, Malappuram at 8 this evening. And in IPL cricket, Delhi Capitals to take on Kolkata Knight Riders at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that PM Awas Yojana and Har Ghar Jal are not just any government schemes but a manifestation of our dreams of providing all necessary amenities to the poor of the country. The Prime Minister said this while addressing the Peace, Unity and Development Rally at Phu in Karbi Anglong District, Assam today. He said cultural heritage of tribal society unites India and strengthens the spirit of Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat. Mr. Modi said culture of tribal society, their language, food, art, handicrafts are the rich heritage of India. The Prime Minister said Assam Chief Minister's efforts ensured peace and now there is no more rule of anarchy and hatred in the state. During the last 8 years, the government removed AFSPA from many areas of the northeast due to the implementation of permanent peace and better law and order, the Prime Minister said.
Northeast में सरकार और समाज के सामूहिक प्रयासों से जैसे जैसे शांति लौट रही है वैसे वैसे पुराने नियमों में भी बदलाव किया जा रहा है। लेकिन बीते 8 सालों के दौरान स्थायी शांति और बेहतर कानून व्यवस्था लागू होने के कारण हमें आपसा को नॉर्थ ईस्ट के कई क्षेत्रों से हटा दिया है। नॉर्थ ईस्ट में हिंसा की घटना में करीब 75% की कमी आई है।
Talking about the Bodo Accord, the Prime Minister said it opened new doors for lasting peace in 2020.
पिछले वर्ष सितंबर में कार्बी आंगलांग के अनेक संगठन शांति और विकास के रास्ते पर आगे बढ़ने का संकल्प लेकर के जुड़ गए। 2020 में बोडो समझौते ने स्थायी शांति के नए द्वार खोल दिए। असम के अलावा त्रिपुरा में भी एनएलएफटी ने शांति के पथ पर कदम बढ़ाए। करीब 2.5 दशक से जो ब्रू रियांग से जुड़ी समस्या चल रही थी उसको भी हल किया गया। बाकी जगहों में भी स्थायी शांति के लिए हमारे प्रयास लगातार चल रहे हैं, गंभीरता से चल रहे हैं।
The centre is committed for peace and development of the northeastern states and it is to provide 1,000 crore rupees under the Peace Accord.
असम की स्थायी शांति और तेज विकास उसके लिए जो समझौता हुआ था उसको आज जमीन पर उतारने का काम तेज गति से चल रहा है। उस समझौते के तहत 1,000 करोड़ रुपए के अनेक प्रोजेक्ट का शिलान्यास आज यहां पर किया गया है। डिग्री कॉलेज हो, वेटरनरी कॉलेज हो, एग्रीकल्चर कॉलेज हो, ये सारे संस्थान यहां के युवाओं को नए अवसर देने वाले हैं।
Mr. Modi said the centre is working for the welfare of the tribal people of Karbi Anglong and other areas of Assam. He said when someone visits the Northeast today and witnesses the rapid development, they will also feel proud. He said the government has understood the problems of the people of Assam from the perspective of the common man. He said the work of building more than 2,600 Amrit Sarovar has begun today. Such sarovars have a rich tradition in the tribal society, and with this, water reserves will be created in every village, and they will also become a source of income. The Prime Minister reiterated double-engine government in many states is developing the nation with the mantra of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas and Sabka Prayas.
भाजपा की डबल इंजन की सरकार जहां भी हो वहां सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास इसी भावना से काम करते हैं। मैं हेमंता जी और नॉर्थ ईस्ट के दूसरे मुख्यमंत्रियों को भी आज विशेष बधाई दूंगा कि उनके प्रयासों से नॉर्थ ईस्ट अब देश की सशक्त आर्थिक इकाई बनने की ओर अग्रसर है।
Remembering the brave commander of Ahom Kingdom, Lachit Borphukan, the Prime Minister said, when we are celebrating 75 years of India's independence, we are also marking the 400th birth anniversary celebrations of Lachit Borphukan.
आज जब देश आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है, तब हम इस धरती के महान सपूत लचित बोरफुकान जी की 400वीं जन्म जयंती भी मना रहे हैं। उनका जीवन राष्ट्रभक्ति और राष्ट्र शक्ति की प्रेरणा है। कार्बी आंगलोंग से देश के इस महान नायक को मैं आदरपूर्वक नमन करता हूं, उनको श्रद्धांजलि देता हूं।
During the program, Mr. Modi laid the foundation stone of various projects worth more than 500 crore rupees in the education sector, including laying of foundation stone of Veterinary College at Difu, Degree College and Agricultural College at West Karbi Anglong. The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of more than 2,950 Amrit Sarovar projects in Assam, being developed at a cumulative cost of around 1,150 crore rupees. After Difu, the Prime Minister will fly to Dibrugarh, where he will inaugurate the Dibrugarh Cancer Centre at the Assam Medical College and Hospital.
Ministry of Finance has said that an amount of 2,70,000 crore rupees towards GST compensation has been released to the states for the financial year 2020-21 itself, and nothing is pending for the year. The ministry said in a statement that it has so far released 7,35,000 crore rupees to the states, including the assistance released on back-to-back basis. It added that currently only for the year 2021-22 compensation of 78,704 crore rupees is pending due to inadequate balance in the fund, which is equivalent to compensation of 4 months. The ministry said normally compensation for 10 months of April to January of any financial year is released during that year, and the compensation of February to March is released only in the next financial year. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri today took a dig at the opposition-ruled states over price rise of fuel, saying petrol will be cheaper if opposition-ruled states cut taxes on it instead of imported liquor. In a series of tweets, Mr. Puri said BJP-ruled states have a VAT on petrol and diesel in the range of 14.50 to 17.50 rupees per litre, while taxes levied by states ruled by other parties are in the range of 26 to 32 rupees per litre. The minister said the Maharashtra government imposes tax of 32.15 rupees per litre on petrol, while Rajasthan collects 29.10 rupees per litre. On the other hand, BJP-ruled Uttarakhand levies only 14.51 and Uttar Pradesh 16.50 per litre. He added that 18% VAT on petrol and 16% on diesel in Haryana among the lowest. Mr. Puri alleged that opposition parties' intent is only to protest and criticize, not to extend relief to the people. Earlier, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi criticized the government over rising fuel prices. He alleged that be it the high fuel price or coal shortage, the centre passes the buck to the states.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has said the state government has already reduced the state taxes on petrol and diesel, intervening in a debate in the State Assembly today on fuel prices. He said the union government has raised the central cess on petrol and diesel, whose revenue cannot be shared with the states. In contrast, he said the centre has reduced the customs duties on fuels whose revenue is being shared with the states, thereby reducing the accruals for the states. He mentioned that when the crude prices were low, the fuel prices were not reduced proportionately. Rural Development and Panchayati Raj Minister Giriraj Singh launched the Azadi Se Antyodaya Tak campaign in New Delhi today. The 90-day campaign is launched with a mission to saturate 75 districts across 28 states and UTs with beneficiary schemes of 9 central ministries. Speaking on the occasion in New Delhi, Mr. Singh said the identified districts are aligned with the birthplaces of 99 freedom fighters who made the supreme sacrifice for the nation during its struggle for independence.
आज 75 जिले में हम उन सेनानियों को याद कर रहे हैं जिनके कारण आज देश स्वतंत्रता के आंदोलन में बड़ी सफलता प्राप्त की और 9 विभाग और 17 ऐसे उनके योजनाएं हैं। तो उन योजनाओं को सैचुरेशन मोड पर ले जाना और 90 दिनों के अंदर ले जाना, ये प्राथमिकता के साथ तय किया गया है। इसके लिए आज डैशबोर्ड भी बना दिया गया है जिस पर बेस डेटा और टारगेट डेटा रहेगा और इसका रियल टाइम मॉनिटरिंग होते रहेगा।
The 75 districts marginally lagging behind in the development parameters have been shortlisted through monthly per capita indicators and socio-economic caste census data.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses Peace, Unity and Development Rally at Difu of Karbi Anglong District, Assam, unveiled several development projects in the state. PM Awas Yojana, Har Ghar Jal are not just any government schemes, but manifestation of her dreams of providing all necessary amenities to the poor, says Prime Minister. Minister of Finance says with the release of over 2 lakh crore rupees as GST compensation to the states, no payments are pending for the financial year 2020-21. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says fuel will be cheaper if opposition ruled states cut taxes on petrol instead of cutting taxes on imported liquor. Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh launches 90-day interministerial campaign Azadi Se Antyodaya Tak and the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Flagship telemedicine scheme E-Sanjeevani records 3.5 lakh teleconsultations on the 26th and 27th of this month. Samba district of Jammu division becomes first district of the country to cover 100% households on the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana Sehat scheme. In Santosh Trophy football, first semi-final between hosts Kerala and Karnataka to be played at Payanat Stadium, Mallapuram this evening. And in IPL cricket, Delhi Capitals to take on Kolkata Knight Riders at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai this evening. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
Welcome back to the Midday News. Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centres ABHWC have crossed a landmark milestone in their mission of providing quality healthcare services near to the communities. A record 3.5 lakh teleconsultations have been registered on the 26th and 27th of this month through flagship telemedicine scheme E-Sanjeevani. The Union Health Ministry said this is the highest number of teleconsultations ever done at these wellness centres on a single day. In addition, more than 76 lakh patients have availed the services provided by E-Sanjeevani OPD telemedicine on the 26th and 27th of this month. The E-Sanjeevani ABHWC is a doctor-to-doctor telemedicine service to provide general and specialised health services in rural areas. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the Samba district of Jammu division has become the first district in India to cover 100% households under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana ABPMJAY Sehat scheme. The district achieved this milestone after the conclusion of special registration drive organised by State Health Agency from April the 11th to the 21st in all BDO offices across the district. Samba has over 62,000 families with over 3 lakh people eligible for ABPMJAY Sehat golden cards.
More than 188 crore 40 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 19 lakh 53,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 3,303 new cases were reported in the country. India's active case load currently stands at 16,980. The recovery rate is currently at 98.74%, with 2,563 people recovering in the last 24 hours. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has asserted that India will engage with the world on its own terms and the era of dictation is over. Addressing the Raisina dialogue, Dr. Jaishankar said, "The idea that others define us and we need approval is an era that we need to put behind us."
Have to be confident about who we are. I think it's better to engage the world on the basis of who we are rather than try and please the world as a pale limitation of what they are. This idea that others define us, that somewhere there we need to get approval of other quarters, I think that's an era we need to put behind us.
The External Affairs Minister said in the next 25 years, India should be at the next stage of globalization. He said India should be about capability building. Dr. Jaishankar said, when we look at India at 75, we are not just looking at the 75 completed years, but the 25 years ahead. He said one difference that he can pick is that Indians have asserted to the world that they are a democracy, and there's a gut sense that democracy is the future. The External Affairs Minister reiterated the best way forward with regard to the Ukraine crisis is to stop the fighting and get the dialogue going.
Dr. S. Jaishankar is arriving in Dhaka today on a short visit to Bangladesh. During the visit, Dr. Jaishankar will be calling on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and hold a meeting with his Bangladeshi counterpart, Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen. A report from our Dhaka correspondent.
The visit to Bangladesh comes in a series of high-level visits, beginning with the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi on March 26th, 27th last year to Dhaka to take part in the Golden Jubilee celebration of the liberation of Bangladesh. It was followed by the visit of President Ramnath Kovind in December last to attend the 50th Victory Day, Vijay Diwas, in Dhaka, marking the victory over Pakistan in 1971. The frequency of high-level visits signifies the deep and strengthening ties between India and Bangladesh. Expressing happiness over the visit of Dr. Jaishankar, Bangladesh Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen said that they will discuss all major bilateral issues during the meeting. Dr. Jaishankar is also likely to hand over the letter of Prime Minister Modi inviting Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to visit India. Rajesh Jha for AIR News, Dhaka.
Hindu delegates from Pakistan will participate in the ongoing Anantapuri Hindu Mahasammelan in Thiruvananthapuram today. The 5-day Mahasammelan began yesterday with the inaugural address by Governor Arif Muhammad Khan. The event will have a series of sessions on different aspects of religion, cultural heritage and traditional values. Union Ministers V. Muralidharan, Goa Governor P. S. Sridharan Pillai and other prominent personalities are expected to participate in the program.
And now let's listen to a special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember social reformer Madhusudan Das, who was born on the 28th of April 1848 at Cuttack district, Odisha. He founded Utkal Samilani in 1903 that successfully campaigned for the creation of Odisha on the 1st of April 1936. The first graduate and advocate of Odisha, he is also known as Kulabrudha, Grand Old Man, and Utkal Gaurab, the pride of Utkal. In Odisha, his birthday is celebrated as the Lawyer's Day on the 28th of April.
तो पूर्व पुरुष जय करिथिले गंगा ठारू गोदावरी तांकरी ओरसु जन्म होई तुही केउ गुणे तांकु सरी.
Madhusudan Das started Deshamishra Andolan and worked hard for the social, political and economic uplift of the people of eastern India. He rendered his admirable service to the nation as a very successful lawyer, social reformer and patriot. He was acclaimed as a great legislator and journalist. He was the first Odia to be the member of the Legislative Council and member of Central Legislative Assembly. He had the distinction of being the first Indian minister.
He was also an excellent orator in Odia, English and Bengali. As a writer and poet, patriotism was always at the forefront of his mind, and that was reflected in all his literary works. He penned a number of articles and poems in both English and Odia. Some of his important poems are Utkal Santan, Jati Itihash and Jananir Ukti.
Jatiro unnati se kahu karibo swarte jara bramana saguna bilua tikitsa kahele sabaki paibo kana.
Madhusudan Das died on the 4th of February 1934, and by the time of his death, he had spent all his property on the well-being of the people of Odisha. His immense contribution towards the state and nation would be admired forever. We salute the great nationalist.
We also remember martyr Kehar Gajan Singh, who was beaten to death in prison by the British authorities on the 28th of April 1925. A resident of Hoshiarpur, Punjab, Singh joined the peaceful Sikh Jatha to Jaito Gurudwara, Gangsar, Nabha in 1924 against the British order prohibiting all prayer assemblies.
The Jatha was stopped by the orders of Wilson Johnston, the administrator of Nabha, and the police arrested a number of its members. Gajan Singh was also arrested and beaten to death in Nabhabir jail on the 28th of April 1925. We salute the great son of the soil.
We also remember independence activist Narayan Singh, who took part in the First War of Indian Independence in 1857. Initially a sepoy in the English East India Company Army in Khandesh, Maharashtra, Singh fought the British at different places in Khandesh. He was caught while defending the British attacks and was charged with desertion and mutiny against the British. He was sentenced to transportation for 10 years and died in the Andaman Islands on the 28th of April 1860. We salute the great son of India.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के पावन अवसर पर आकाशवाणी समाचार के कार्यक्रम परिक्रमा में बृहस्पतिवार को शाम 4:45 पर सुनिए देश की आजादी में अपना अमूल्य योगदान देने वाले भारतीय स्वतंत्रता संग्राम के सेनानियों की वीर गाथा।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed happiness over 70 years of establishment of diplomatic relations between India and Japan today. In a series of tweets, Mr. Modi said that the ties between the two countries have deepened in every sphere, whether strategic, economic or people-to-people contacts. Mr. Modi said the recent visit of Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida to India for the annual summit laid out a roadmap for deepening the special strategic and global partnership in a post-COVID world. Prime Minister Modi said he looks forward to continue working with PM Kishida to realize that objective.
The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, yesterday approved the construction of 540-megawatt Kuar hydroelectric project located on River Chenab in Kishtwar district of Jammu and Kashmir. The project will be implemented by Chenab Valley Power Projects Private Limited, which is a joint venture company between NHPC and JKSPDC. Briefing the media about the cabinet decisions, Information Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur said the project, approved with an investment of over 4,526 crore rupees, will help make the Union Territory self-reliant in electricity.
क्वार हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक प्रोजेक्ट ये किश्तवाड़ जिले में चिनाब नदी पर बनाया जाएगा। 540 मेगावाट का क्वार हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक प्रोजेक्ट होगा। इसे जो एनएचपीसी की कंपनी है चिनाब वैली पावर प्रोजेक्ट, इसकी एक सब्सिडरी है, वो बनाएगी। इसमें 51% शेयर एनएचपीसी का और 49% शेयर जम्मू कश्मीर के स्टेट पावर डेवलपमेंट कॉरपोरेशन का होगा। मित्रों, ये आत्मनिर्भर बिजली के क्षेत्र में जम्मू कश्मीर को बनाने के लिए ये निर्णय लिया गया है। और अगर आप इससे पहले भी देखें, 3 प्रोजेक्ट इससे पहले किरू, पकलदुल, रातले और अब कवार, ये चारों को मिलाकर 3000 मेगावाट के प्रोजेक्ट बनते हैं। लगभग 23,000 करोड़ रुपया इनके ऊपर खर्च आएगा। 12,000 से ज्यादा लोगों को इस पे रोजगार स्वरोजगार के अवसर मिलेंगे। आर्थिक सामाजिक विकास इसके माध्यम से होगा।
In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 terrorists were killed in an overnight encounter with security forces in Mitrigam area of Pulwama district. IG Police Kashmir Range Vijay Kumar said the slain terrorists have been identified as Ejaz Hafiz and Shahid Ayub. 2 AK-47 rifles have been recovered from their possession.
कल हम लोगों को खबर मिला था कि पुलवामा के मित्री गांव में 3 टेररिस्ट छिपे हुए हैं। पुलिस, आर्मी, सीआरपीएफ मिलकर कॉर्डन डाला। कॉर्डन डालते ही अंदर से फायरिंग आ गया। फिर हम लोग सिविलियन को निकाले। फिर ऑपरेशन रिज्यूम हुआ, जिसमें अलबदर का 2 टेररिस्ट मारा गया। ये वही दोनों टेररिस्ट है जो पिछले 1 महीना से आउटसाइडर जितने भी वर्कर्स हैं, लेबरर्स, उस पर काफी फायरिंग किया। बहुत उसमें लगभग 6 इंजर्ड हो गए थे और दोनों खिलाफ 60 एफआईआर लॉज है। इसके तलाश में हम बहुत दिन से थे।
The semi-final leg of the 75th Santosh Trophy National Football Championship begins tonight. In the first semi-final, host Kerala will take on 4-time champion Karnataka at the Pioneer Stadium in Manjeri at 8:30 p.m. The only unbeaten side of the tournament in the group stage, Kerala progressed into the semi-finals after finishing Group A toppers. The second semi-final will be played between Manipur and the 32-time champion West Bengal at the same venue tomorrow. In IPL cricket, Delhi Capitals will take on Kolkata Knight Riders at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai at 7:30 p.m. today. Last night, Gujarat Titans defeated Sunrisers Hyderabad by 5 wickets in a last-ball thriller at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai.
The Sensex and the Nifty today climbed more than 1% in afternoon trade. Domestic stock indices rose amid positive cues from global share markets. The Sensex at the Bombay Stock Exchange was trading above 57,600 points, while the Nifty at the National Stock Exchange was trading above 17,250 level. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses Peace, Unity and Development Rally in Dipu of Karbi Anglong District, Assam, unveils several development projects in the state. PM Awas Yojana, Har Ghar Jal are not just any government schemes but manifestation of our dreams of providing all necessary amenities to the poor, says Prime Minister. Ministry of Finance says with the release of over 2 lakh crore rupees as GST compensation to the states, no payments are pending for the financial year 2020-21. Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri says fuel will be cheaper if opposition-ruled states cut taxes on petrol instead of cutting taxes on imported liquor. Rural Development Minister Giriraj Singh launches 90-day interministerial campaign Azadi Se Antyodaya Tak under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Flagship telemedicine scheme E-Sanjeevani records 3.5 lakh teleconsultations on 26th and 27th of this month. Samba district of Jammu division becomes first district of the country to cover 100% households under Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana Sehat scheme. In Santosh Trophy football, first semi-final between host Kerala and Karnataka to be played at Wayanad Stadium, Malappuram at 8:30 p.m. And in IPL cricket, Delhi Capitals to take on Kolkata Knight Riders at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai this evening. And with that, we end the midday news.